Good morning students. So welcome to the course Group Theory, Spectroscopy and Diffraction Method. So we were dealing with application of this group theory and we are going to discuss about the application of group theory on spectroscopy. So to start the discussion on our particular discussion, let us take an example of this transplanar H2O2. So the structure of the molecule is, we know that the point group of this particular molecule is C2H. So the symmetry operations are going to be E, C2, I and a horizontal plane. Now we know that there is going to be 6 normal modes of vibration and we are going to find out that how many of them are IR active and how many of them are Raman active. Now if we take a 3n displacement vector as our basis vector, so there is going to be, as there are 4 atoms, so there is going to be 12 basis vector. So now I know that the symmetry operations under where the atoms are unshifted, only those atoms are going to contribute into the diagonal elements. So they are going to contribute into the character of the matrix representation. So under that condition, under E operation it is going to be 12, but under C2 operation it is going to be 0, under I operation it is 0, and sigma horizontal plane, let me consider the molecular plane to be X and Y. So it is sigma XY, that is going to be 4. So all of us know that if we square up the character under the symmetry operation and add them up, and if that is not exactly equal to the order of the group, then this is a reducible representation. So this is a reducible representation and we easily can find out that which irreducible representation will be spanned by this reducible representation. For that one, we require the character table of the C2H molecule. So let us quickly write the character table for the C2H molecule. This is AG, A because it is plus 1 under C2, G Gerade because this is plus 1 under I. We know under the inversion, if it is plus 1, we recognize that particular representation as Gerade, and if it is minus 1, we represent them as ungerade. And under C2, if it is plus 1, this is A, if it is minus 1, this is B. So we have 4 irreducible representation AG, AU, BG, BU. Now if we look into the third column of the character table, where it represents the X, Y, the transformation of the X, Y, Z, that is the translational vectors as well as the rotational vectors, we know that this is this one. Rx, Ry x and y. We also know the fourth column is for the quadratic transformation of the x and y. So this is x square minus y square xy, this is xz, this is yz, here z square will also come, x square will also come, y square will also come. So this is the complete character table of the C2H molecule. Now we can apply the reduction formula to find out what irreducible representations are spanning this reducible representation. Now we know that we are working with a 3n displacement vector. So 3n displacement vector is going to give us the complete information of the translation, rotation and vibrational motion. So if we, with that 3n displacement vector, the reducible representation is this one. Now if we apply the reduction formula, we will find out that this is comprises of 4Ag, 2Au, 2Bg and then 4Bu. Now all of us can find out, actually this is a complete representation where the translational motion, the rotational motion, the vibrational motion all are contained. So if we want to find out the tau translation, we have to look at how x, y and z is transforming. So that would be 2Bu and 1Au. Similarly, rotation is going to be 2Bg and 1Ag, because rotational vector Rx is transforming as Bg, Ry is transforming as Bg, Rz is transforming as Ag. Now if we subtract these irreducible representation from the total, we get tau vibration equal to 3Ag, 1Au, 2Bu. So now we know that there are three types of normal modes of vibration of this particular molecule. This particular molecule, the normal modes of vibrations can be designated either by the Ag or the Au or the Bu irreducible transformation, irreducible representation. Now we need to find out that the normal modes of vibration which are transforming as Ag or Au or Bu, are they IR active or Raman active? For any particular normal modes of vibration to be spectroscopically active, the transition moment integral should be non-vanishing. What is this transition moment integral? This is the excited state, this is the ground state. Operator P is generally the perturbed Hamiltonian, the perturbation in the Hamiltonian which actually connects the ground state with the excited state. Now for IR transition, we know that the dipole moment vector of the molecule actually interacts with the external electromagnetic radiation. And for the Raman active, we know that we need to have the information of the polarizability, not the mu. Now we know polarizability is an tensor of the rank 2. That means it has always two coordinate xy, yz, zx, etc. So alpha is always comprises of the two coordinates. So that means the change in the alpha that can be designated by the fourth column of the character table, where we know how the quadratic term of the coordinates are changing. That is how x, y, y, z, z, x's are changing. But for the mu, we know mu has a component of mu x, mu y and mu z. So the transformation of the mu can be obtained from the transformation along x and y and z, that is from the third column of the character table. Now this transition moment integral, this ground state always transform either as A1 or AG as per the symmetry species that involved. The excited state normal modes of vibration will have the same symmetry species as exactly we have for our normal modes of vibration. That is, we know this is, the excited state can be of the type AG or the type AU or the type BU. So excited state can have the symmetry species as AG or AU or BU. Now the condition for non-vanishing, condition of non-vanishing of transition moment integral is the way that my psi ground state and psi excited state is transforming. So we can say that tau A is and the tau C, the way that they are transforming, if they are forming a reducible representation, then they should contain A1 or Ag if the molecule is having a center of symmetry. Or on the other hand, we can also say that if that is not a reducible representation, then the way that tau A and tau C is transforming, their direct product should be exactly matching with the symmetry species of this perturbed Hamiltonian. So for IR activity, we have to know how mu tau ground state d tau is transformed. As I have already told you, this is always of the AG symmetry. Now first let me find out whether AG is a IR active mode or inactive mode. So in the excited state, I would write AG. Now AG into AG, the direct product will always give me AG. How to know that one? Look into the character table. What is the character of AG? 1, 1, 1, 1. So I have to take the direct product of AG with AG. So I have to multiply this particular matrix element with the same matrix element. So 1 into 1, 1 into 1, 1 into 1, 1 into 1. So that is going to give me the AG. Now I have to look whether any component of mu, that is mu x, mu y or mu z, are they transforming as AG? If yes, then it would be a non-vanishing transition moment integral, and this particular normal modes of vibration of the AG symmetry would be IR active. Look back into the character table. We know in the AG there is no x or y or z component. There is rotational vector rz, but x, y or z is not there beside this AG. That means neither mu x nor mu y nor mu z is transforming as AG. So that means there is no component of mu which is being transformed as the symmetry species AG. Hence this particular mode is going to be IR inactive. So let me write down AG mode, IR inactive. Now let me look for the AU mode. So again, transition moment integral, this is always of the AG. Now we know we are looking for the AU mode. So my excited vibrational state would be of the AU mode. AU mode. Now AU into AG. This is going to be AU. How to know? Again, AU into AG. Multiply them 1 into 1, 1 into 1, 1 into minus 1, 1 into minus 1. So we are going to get the AU mode. So we know AU into AG is always going to give me the AU. So that means any component of mu should be transforming as AU. Now if you look into the character table, you will find out that mu Z is transforming as AU. So that means mu Z is there which is transforming as AU. Hence, this transition moment integral AU into AG is of the AG symmetry. So that means this transition moment integral should be non-vanishing and my AU is going to be IR active. Similarly, if we look for the BU, we will find out that BU into AG is also BU and mu X and mu Y is transforming as BU to make the transition moment integral non-vanishing. So that means BU is also my IR active. So now let us look for the Raman activity. For the Raman activity, the condition remains the same, but here instead of the dipole moment, the polarizability tensor would come. Now we have to look for whether this AG, AU or BU are they Raman active or not. AG, AU, BU. If you look into, first let me consider the AG. So the transition moment integral, the psi excited is being transformed as AG. Psi ground state is always of the AG symmetry. So now for the alpha, we should have a particular component of alpha that should transform as AG to make the total transition moment integral non-vanishing. So if that is so, look into here, AG into AG is going to give you AG. Now in the fourth column, you know there is XY, Z square. So these components of the alpha can transform as the AG symmetry. So that means we can find out that these components of alpha will make this particular normal mode of vibration, which is of the AG symmetry, to be Raman active. So this is my Z square, this is my XY. These components are being transformed as AG. Alpha XY is also being transformed as AG to make this one as Raman active. Now if you write it down again, AG, Raman activity is there. If you look into AU and BU, so that means again psi excited, alpha, psi ground state, d tau, this is always of the AG symmetry, this is of the AU symmetry. So alpha should have some component which should transform as AU. But if you look into the character table, AU, there is no there is no quadratic term, the binary term of the X and Y which is transforming as AU. That means no component of alpha is transforming as AU. Hence, that is going to be Raman inactive. Similarly, BU is also going to be Raman inactive. Now, if you look here, AG was IR inactive, AU was IR active, BU was IR active. This is called mutual exclusion principle. That means the molecule which is having, this is true only for the molecules having center of symmetry, that is I. Molecules which are having center of symmetry, the normal modes of vibration which is IR inactive would be Raman active, and which are IR active would be Raman inactive. So this is called mutual exclusion principle. As this particular molecule is having the center of inversion I, so we can see this particular mutual exclusion principle to be present over there. But if we walk into some other point group like C2V or D2, any other point group, we may find that there are normal modes of vibrations which are both Raman and IR active. So from here we are going to continue in the next class.